equivalent to mine.
Look at little Richard. Little Richard puts that expression.
You think singing is just jumping around and screaming?
You gotta have some kind of expression. I mean, you gotta have expression.
Well, Johnny Cash has got expression.
There's no expression.
You got a different expression.
St. Paul, Minnesota. I
walk
the line because
you're no expression. You're doing it wrong. What's the best kind of music?
Rhythm and blues.
State your reason in no less than 25 minutes.
Rhythm and blues is something that you really can't quite explain. See, when you hear a song of rhythm and blues, when you hear it's a good rhythm and blues song, chills go up your spine when you hear a song like that. But when you hear a song like Johnny Cash, what do you want to do? You want to leave. When you hear a song like some good rhythm and blues song, you want to cry when you hear one of those songs.
With buzz, buzz, buzz goes the bumblebee. Little, little, big old bird. But the sound you sing is darling, is the sweetest sound I ever heard. Well, I see the beauty of the red, red rose, the beauty of the sky, the blue. Oh, the beauty of the evening sunset, dear. But the beauty of you, oh, so sweet as honey from the honeycomb. Sweet as a grape from the vine. Well, love to this beauty, darling, and I hope someday you'll be mine. Won't you come along for me?
You gotta do a little bit faster. I mean, I'm trying to tell fast record speeding and stuff.
That's not
I
slow.
can't help it. I know it ain't slow, but it's not fast enough, still.
What are you talking about, man? That's plenty fast.
No, it isn't.
That'll sell just like that, 10 million in a week.
Yeah.
Well,
What are you trying to do, man? Coming in with wail like that. I mean...
well, that was a new song. Now I'm starting another one.
And we belong together. Yes, we belong together. Yes, I know. You're mine. And we belong together.
You know, other than Ricky Nelson. Now, Ricky Nelson's another one of these guys. See, Ricky Nelson.
Well, Ricky Nelson's out of the question.
Well, he copies Elvis Presley, and Elvis Presley.
He can't sing like Elvis Presley.
Well, he can't sing at all, Ricky Nelson. So we might as well forget him. Yeah, I mean, you know, when you hear music like the Diamonds, take the Diamonds for instance, too. They're on this big popular record, you know. So that they're popular, big stars. But where do they get all their songs? You know where they get all their songs? They get all their songs from little groups, see. They copy all the little groups. Same thing with Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, who does he copy? He copies Clyde McPhatter. He copies Little Richard.
Wait a minute,
He copies the Drifters.
Wait a minute. Name 4 songs that Elvis Presley's copied from those little groups.
He copies all Little Richard songs.
Like
Rip
what?
It Up, Long Tall Sally, Ready Teddy, what's the other one?
Money Honey?
No, Money Honey he copied from Clyde McPhatter. He copied I Was the One, he copied that from the Coasters. He copied I Got a Woman from Ray Charles.
Listen, that song was written for him.
The way that I love you. I'll be true. Lilly Lou, Lilly Lou. I love you, yes I do.
Bob and I went to high school together. He was about a year ahead of me in school, but during the, I would say 1957 through 59, we became friends and had a common interest in music. And we were aware, of course, of the economic situation of the Iron Range at the time, in this town in particular, which was sort of hard-pressed because of the iron depletion in the mines, which caused a great deal of unemployment and hardships. And I guess in one sense, when you accompany that with long, hard winters, it was kind of a bleak time to live. But it wasn't really that bad as long as we had friendship and music. This is the street that Bob lived on. As a matter of fact, we're approaching his house shortly. Many hours were spent here with Bob listening to the records that he ordered out of Little Rock, Arkansas and down in Minneapolis, and we spent time up in his bedroom playing the guitar and practicing and pretending that we were big recording artists. And it's your typical teenage rock fantasy. For one of us it came true. Bob had said Hibbing was a good place to leave, and at that time it really was. It just seemed that to especially a person growing up at that time, Hibbing was not maybe the place that they wanted to stick around. There were much better places. Up in this part of the country, there is no definite form of music that is identifiable to this region, and nothing American like the blues from New Orleans, for example, or Chicago. We sort of depended on the radio, which late at night, when we got better signals from the southern stations, we could sit down and listen to the music that we thought was the music to listen to, and that had a lot of influence on us. It was, I think, in 1958, and he informed me one day that he was going to be part of a talent show at the school. The full student body was going to be there, and he wanted me to play lead guitar. And we maybe rehearsed the song 2 times, if that, I don't remember. As soon as the curtain was drawn, you felt a little warm rush. Bob gets into the piano and starts doing his thing, and I'm following along. And after it got going, it was actually kind of fun. We really got into it. And the response was very conservative at first. But I could tell that that was of no concern to Bob at all. He did his thing the way he wanted to do it, and that was that. It was difficult to tell what songs he wrote and what songs he didn't write, because sometimes I discovered that he said he wrote a song and he didn't, and other times I thought he did not write the song and he did. So it was difficult to say. Needless to say, it was pretty similar to the music that we were into at the time. I remember a big influence on us musically was a guitar player called Scotty Moore, who was with the early Elvis Presley combo with Bill Black. And we emulated Scotty's guitar style. I remember Bob coming over and says, "Listen, I picked up some Scotty Moore sound. He figured out how to do it." And, you know, that was the greatest thing that had happened to us in a long time. So we essentially copied his style and learned to play guitar, that type of music, by listening to old Elvis Presley records, Mystery Train, Milk Cow Blues Boogie, That's the Right Mom, and My Baby Left Me, that ilk of music. I remember once when Bob came to my house, and at the time he had his dad's car, and he said, "I'm going to go down to St. Paul and visit some people down there, and I'm wondering if you want to come along with me." I thought it was a great idea, and I said, "Well, how are we getting down there?" He says, "I'm taking my dad's car, but he doesn't know it." I said, "What the hell are you doing, man? No." But I'm not sure. I think that probably he was not entirely truthful about that, because I'm sure that Abe would have had the cops out for us in a couple of hours. But it was exciting to both of us, because we were going down to Minneapolis and St. Paul, which was, at that time, we considered the world, the real life, where things are really happening. So it was a great experience to go down there. So we drove down on Highway 61, and on the way we just talked about normal things, music, what we were going to say when we got down there, and the normal things that most teenagers talk about. When we went down to Minneapolis that time on Highway 61, he told me, "Now look, when we get there and I see some of these people that I know, I want you to tell them that we are down here to cut a record and that you're my bass player." And I thought, what the heck is he up to now, you know? But so I went along, and that was the impression that we got across, and everybody believed him, and so he was kind of like the center of attention there, because he was down to cut a record, and gave the impression that he was a serious musician who had the wherewithal to make it big. But the problem was, you see, he did, so he didn't have to tell these stories. Well, we have just gone past Maple Hill Cemetery, just outside of Hibbing. Bob and I spent a lot of time right in this particular area because a girlfriend of his lived out here. Her name was Echo, and at the time when she lived here was I would say a tar paper shack with it was one room, and She was a very bright and sweet kid, I remember, but she was poor. But Bob, her and I had the same kindred spirit, I guess, as far as where we wanted to go with life, and we spent a lot of hours out here playing the guitar and singing. Well, I was surprised when he came out to be such a strong spokesman for many of the causes of the movement that was sweeping the country in the early 60s, starting off, well, what we used to call underground folk music. When I knew him, we were not political at all. We never talked about causes. At that time, there were no really, quote-unquote, great causes, with possible exception of the civil rights movement, which was just starting to make itself heard during that era. Other than that, there wasn't much as far as war or any social issues that at least we talked about. The last time he left, he went to the University of Minnesota, and I was still a senior in high school. And he was gone to the University of Minnesota for about maybe 3 or 4 months in the fall of 1959. And when I saw him, that's when I first met Bob Dylan. He was playing at a place in St. Paul called the Purple Onion, which was a pizza house where they had folk music back in 1960. And he played there for $5 a night, and we sometimes joined them. And he was there for a few months. And one winter night after the performance was done, he says, "I'm taking off to New York to see Woody Guthrie." He says, "You want to come with me?" And I thought about the dead of winter and how unsure I was of myself of hitchhiking out to New York, and I told him, I think I'll pass on this one. And I did, and he went, and I didn't.